Yo, what's going on, guys? It is time for another reaction video, and this one is coming from the YouTube channel Before You Go. So if you want to check out more from this YouTube channel, it is called Before You Go. This is 7 best places to visit in Paraguay and top things to do. Let's get straight into it.
Would you like to discover the best places in Paraguay?
Yeah.
Well, you're in the right place because this video will reveal the 7 places you absolutely must visit when you get to this South American country. Please be sure to stay until the end of this video because number 1 on our list is one of the most famous tourist destinations for anyone visiting Paraguay. Number 7, Ciudad del Este. Known as the 2nd largest city in Paraguay, Ciudad del Este sits right on the border with Brazil and is quite famous for the numerous beautiful items you can buy without breaking the bank. So it's not surprising that this is a great shopping destination for tourists from all parts of the world.
Quick question for people in South America. So they mentioned that this is right on the border of Paraguay and Brazil. So in the South America regions and countries, is everybody pretty neighborly, or is there any tension at any borders? Just out of curiosity. So at the Paraguay and Brazilian border, is it pretty chill and you can go back and forth freely, or is it difficult to go back and forth? And that goes for pretty much any of the countries in South America. Let me know if anybody knows the answer to that, because I've never really known for sure.
While you're here, you have to get used to the steady foot traffic of people moving in from neighboring countries just to take advantage of the low taxes when buying luxury items. Apart from this, there are also amazing restaurants with great cuisines that will be a delight to your taste buds. This city is also conveniently located on the road to Saltos del Monte waterfalls and the Iguazu Falls, which means you can take your adventure further to these locations if you want. Number 6, Philadelphia. Don't be surprised to step into an area in Paraguay and instantly feel like you've moved into a German city instead. That small farming community is actually Philadelphia, whose history dates back to 1930 as a Mennonite colony. This area feels more like a German suburb than a city in Paraguay, but you'll definitely love how the German culture blends smoothly with its huge dairy market. To learn more about the history of Philadelphia, visit the Jacob Unger Museum with its Spanish and German tours. You can also find out more about the Chaco War in the House Salts Museum, where you will have so much fun going back in time with activities that will remind you of the old days. Number 5, Asunción. You can never run out of things to do in Paraguay as soon as you step into the capital city of Asunción. One of the many attractions here is that it's the location of the stately López Palace, which serves as the president's office and the seat of government. This palace, which is almost 50 years old, is definitely a must-see.
Off topic, but I'm trying to figure out, I'm slightly colorblind. Is the building pink, or am I just seeing that wrong? Not that it matters, I can't quite tell what color it is. And I'm just curious to know. So tell me in the comments.
Seat of government. This palace, which is almost 50 years old, is definitely a must-see, even though there are restrictions on how you can access it. One thing is for sure though, and it's the fact that the view of this mansion is a sight for sore eyes at night. So feel free to stay at a safe distance and take as many pictures as possible. Even art lovers will appreciate the intricate details that went into creating this masterpiece. Plus, you can take it further by checking out the diverse art collection within the palace, and you'll be surprised at how much time flies while you're having fun there. Apart from its ties to the government, this city is also a nest of history. You can visit the Independence House Museum, which displays several relics of independence from the Spanish and colonial architecture. The National Pantheon of Heroes, which has a huge mausoleum for tons of historical figures, is another great structure to check out. By the way, you should check out the link in the description now if you want to learn how to save money on airfares. This guide will teach you how to always get the cheapest flight tickets when no doubt about it, one of the most attractive cities in Paraguay is Encarnación, which is a city that is just about 200 miles from Asunción. Another name for Encarnación is the Pearl of the South, and that's a very fancy name for a city as beautiful as this. Some of its major attractions are ruins that date back several years, and a few ones to check out are the Trinidad del Paraná and Jesuit missions of La Santísima. You can be sure that the stories behind these buildings are so interesting that you'll be hooked for hours.
That looks like a really cool place. Like that looks like somewhere I would enjoy visiting. but it looks also very spread out. So I wonder if you're doing this on foot, how long it takes you to cover all those grounds, because this looks like a pretty big area from these aerial shots. Look how big that is. And I wonder how much of it you can really go to, because right now I'm not seeing I don't think any people anywhere. So do they actually let you go out there and view this? Or do you have to view it from way far away from a fence? And in that case, is it worth it? If anybody's ever visited here, let me know what they allow and what's not, if you can actually go out there and see it, or if you're restricted.
You can be sure that the stories behind these buildings are so interesting that you'll be hooked for hours. These ruins are so amazing that they were featured in The Mission, a movie released in 1986. If you like to enjoy more modern activities, then be sure to check out the artificial beach created along a river in the city. Of course, This is the perfect spot for some water sports, especially jet skiing and boating. You can also go swimming in those waves. Plus, although the crowd can be a little much, it's still a great idea to join some of the famous carnivals that are held within the first 2 months of every year. Number 3, Ibikui National Park. There's so much to say about the Ibikui National Park, and you'll have to be there in person to enjoy all the fun activities firsthand. It features natural ponds and hiking routes, which is great for anyone that would love to go jogging to admire the beautiful scenery. Even better, the national park is the perfect spot for bird watchers. This is because it plays host to several species of colorful birds, and you can have an amazing time with the skilled residents who have a special bond with the birds here. Meanwhile, if you're traveling with youngsters, they don't have to miss out on the fun too.
So I was just doing a reaction the other day, I believe it was to New Zealand, and it was a guy who had moved to New Zealand from England, and he was saying how much in New Zealand, and now I'm thinking back, I'm pretty sure it was New Zealand, how important it is to have a home that has a view of the birds, or that a lot of people just really enjoy bird watching in New Zealand because they have a lot of rare birds too. So now seeing that here again, it's kind of interesting that it's similar in Paraguay.
Colorful birds, and you can have an amazing time with the skilled residents who have a special bond with the birds here. Meanwhile, if you're traveling with youngsters, they don't have to miss out on the fun too. Simply take them to the petting farm and watch the magic happen. Indeed, no one should be surprised that the Ibikui National Park is one of the most famous ones in Paraguay despite its small size. To make the most out of your experience here, pack your sunscreen, lots of drinks to avoid dehydration, and dress in warm, comfortable clothing. Also, if you're not a fan of crowds, you'll love this national park even more. It doesn't get crowded, and you can easily get to the park from Asuncion by taking public transportation. Number 2, La Santísima Trinidad de Paraná. You could take a trip back in time with a visit to a former Jesuit reduction in Paraguay, La Santísima Trinidad de Paraná, which is located in La Santísima. Without a doubt, this is the most attractive one you'll find in the city, with a chapel devoted to the Virgin Mary. Of course, there's a lot to learn about the history of La Santísima, and you could get a lot of insight at any of the numerous museums available here. Meanwhile, it's a great idea to also check out the Jesuit missions, which were in existence for 150 years before being ousted in 1756. Plus, you'll find out more about the Jesuits' history in Paraguay with a quick tour of the museum at the Tavarangüe mission. And indeed, you really can't visit La Santísima without stopping at the Jesuit missions. Not long after it started in 1609, the Jesuit mission became a top missionary site in Latin America until they were banished. But it's still definitely worth visiting today. Number 1. Saltos del Monte. The best thing to do in Saltos del Monte is to go hiking through the 1.6 hectares park to view the stunning 40-meter waterfall.
I've seen this one in a few of the videos before, and it does look like a very beautiful place to go visit. But this is one of the first ones I believe I've seen where they said to go do the hiking instead, which kind of makes more sense because that way you could get a better view from afar instead of trying to be like right up on it where you can't really see it as much.
Undoubtedly, this waterfall, which comes from the Paraná River, is the biggest attraction in this city. However, the trip up the mountain is not an easy one, so be prepared for the tough journey. I recommend stopping in town for a lovely picnic with your friends or even other visitors looking to enjoy the wonderful city before starting your trek. Plus, you would agree that the climb is definitely worth it when you arrive at your destination surrounded by breathtaking views of the waterfalls. Saltos del Monte plays host to 3 different waterfalls, and you may be lucky enough to find the perfect spot for a quick dip. Since these falls are not as popular as the Iguazu Falls, the foot traffic is minimal. and that will give you the freedom to enjoy the views without the crowds. Did you enjoy this video? Well, you should subscribe to my channel.
That being said, you should subscribe to my channel too. Now, if you do like this video, definitely go check out the YouTube channel before you go. You can see it right here. And subscribe to their content. Because without their content, I couldn't make content. So yeah, it was pretty interesting. I saw a few new spots here that I hadn't seen previously. Some cool spots that might end up on my bucket list at some point. My bucket list is just ever growing and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So I need to start checking things off the list before I keep adding more. With that being said, if you have some videos about Paraguay, whether it's culture, music, history, food, what have you, comment below, let me know, provide a link if you can to a video, and I will do my best to react to it. If you're new here and you want to see more from me, do subscribe. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It does help. And I will wrap it here and see you guys in the next video. Later.